The drama-free offseason just came to an end. Hey, welcome to Cohn and LaRocca. That's Tyler LaRocca. I'm Grant Cohn, and we have breaking news. It's that time of the offseason when nothing is supposed to happen. Minicamp ended a couple of weeks ago. Training camp's about 4 weeks away. This is the time for every player to hide in a bunker, play golf. Just essentially your one job is don't get in trouble, even if it's not your fault. And Deommodore, Lenoir, usually there's one player per team that just gets in trouble. And this year it's Deommodore, Lenoir. He got arrested yesterday in LA. That's where he's from. Apparently he was hanging out with his friend or associate, Marcus Cunningham. Police rolled up, saw double parked cars blocking traffic. They suspected criminal activity. What else is new? They noticed a gun in Cunningham's car, tried to get at it. Cunningham threw the keys at Lenoir. He caught him and wouldn't give him over to the officer. So Lenoir got arrested. That's the end of the story. What do you think?
The Niners can't help themselves. Someone's got to do something. Someone's got to cause something up. I mean, regardless if this is Demo's fault or not, it's just, it's ironic how we're drama free. And, Kyle's sitting in his office like, come on, man. We were so close. We were so close to no drama. It sounds like a pretty crummy situation for Lenoir. Got arrested, protecting his buddy seemingly. Yeah, I mean, you hope nothing comes of it. You hope there's no suspension or anything, or it's anything more serious than it needs to be. Because that would be a pretty big blow. I'm not gonna lie. That'd be a rough one.
It's too bad they couldn't de-escalate the situation. It's good nothing worse happened. And I just when I saw that Lenoir was arrested, I was a little upset because even though I understand I don't know these players, sometimes I get to like some of them, and I like Lenoir. Yeah. And I feel like I know he's a good guy, even though I don't know any of these players and don't know what they're like at home. And I'm like, oh no, did he do something awful? And I'm looking at him like, oh no, that's Deommodore Lenoir. I feel like I still know him, I think. And this doesn't change my opinion of him. It just feels like the mistake a young man makes. 25 years old, you just got a lot of money, and probably the impulse is to go home and show your friends or whomever that you haven't changed, that you're still the same guy. But I think this is what you get when you do stuff like that. One of your buddies who has nothing to lose gets you in trouble when it should just be him, and you should have been at home, gardening. Doing something that rich people do.
Golfing.
Yeah. Let's give Deommodore Lenoir 5 ideas of things he can do in the future that rich people do.
Golf. The best sport ever.
Sailing.
Oh, yeah. Boat.
Horseback riding.
Polo. Ice hockey.
Synchronized swimming.
Could you imagine if Kyle saw him playing ice hockey in the offseason? Oh my God.
I don't want to get too wag my finger at Deommodore Lenoir, but it's dude, now is when you have to have the realization, they got rid of Charvarius Ward for you. You understand? They got rid of Charvarius Ward because they felt not only are you better than him and younger than him, but you're a good bet long term. They can count on you to be available because you're the guy who works so hard and cares so much, and all that's true. But we don't know how you're going to respond to all this money. You were a 5th round pick grinding to make it. You made it. It's really unfortunate that within a few months you made a hiccup. So this should be the one.
It's just one of those things too. Yeah. It's a little hiccup, and I can't really blame him, right? They probably just saw 2 young, kids in LA with nice cars, whether, not to get political.
The story sounds a little fishy. I feel
not to get political, but they probably just
we've heard the stories. We've seen the movies.
Yeah. Assumed something, walked up, and then just so happened.
Double parked cars. I smell criminal activity. Why?
And then unfortunately, his friend, seemingly not the sharpest tool in the shed, decided, oh wait, I actually do have something that could get us in trouble. And, Lenoir being who Lenoir is, he's protecting him. And Not, you know, I don't know how that works. How they aren't allowed to grab the keys from Lenoir. I don't know. But yeah, I hope that this is a little bit of a wake up call that, just because you do make money, just because you're a famous 49er, doesn't change how it can be viewed when you go back home and how your friends can be viewed when you go back home. So,
And again, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt too. Like,
yeah,
it's possible he didn't do anything wrong. This
for
is a
sure.
misunderstanding. We're only getting one side story. Like we've there's countless stories like that. And
Yep.
maybe this is, he's in the wrong place at the wrong time. And that's all this is. And but
That's
still,
my assumption. Is yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like
still
when you go back home, you just got to be a little careful, right? Like for him, it
a
sucks.
lot, a lot careful.
Yeah,
And
I
maybe don't
feel
go
for
back
him.
home anymore. Maybe bring home to you, dude. You have enough money to fly out anyone you want to see.
It's
Oh,
one
you
of
want to
those.
see me? Come to Santa Clara. We'll go to
Yeah,
Dave and Buster's in Milpitas. It'll be super boring.
it's
That's how
just
I do it
it's
now.
just it's just one of those things where it's like you really got to check with those around you, right? Because you are the person with something to lose. Like you said,
Mhm.
you're the only one there with something to lose. Your buddies ain't got anything to lose. So, even though Demo knows I'm not like silly enough to keep a firearm in my vehicle, his buddy is not making $100 million. He could keep a firearm in his vehicle.
I'm so glad that I heard the story because to me, it's like quintessentially Lenoir.
Yeah, for
He's
sure.
fiery. He's not going to back down,
Yep.
but he's also like not a bad guy and he's
Yeah.
not malicious. He's not a dirty player. He doesn't seem like he's the kind of person who's a criminal or like trying to go out and break the law. It seems like
Yeah.
actually he's a good guy. Seems like that.
He's just protecting his friend.
Yeah.
And you got to be careful with friends you need to protect when you're at the level you're at right now. When you
Yeah, let
make
that guy get some other guy to protect him.
Mhm.
Demo. He doesn't deserve your. He can't
Yeah,
afford your protection anymore.
exactly. I
Yeah,
think, it's one of those things where I mean, I'm not glad it happened. But for him, I hope it's a little bit of oh shoot, like I have to remember, like
but you have.
I got
This
to be
is what
careful.
teams are so scared of. It's like, okay, guys, so there's 6 weeks off, and you have no responsibility. You're all gonna go home and see your friends who have no money, and you're rich. So good luck. Don't do
Yeah.
anything stupid. It's like
Yeah, just take it
oftentimes
maybe next off season, just take him to Hawaii, take him to
leave the
Cabo.
country.
Yeah, just go have fun, away from LA. Nothing good happens in LA, dude. I grew up in LA. It's
Damn, Demo,
nasty.
you changed. You're right. I did change.
Do you want to come to Cabo or not?
I wear
No.
Skechers now.
No, I don't want to go to Cabo. All
I
right,
tuck
you're
my
lost.
t-shirts in now.
Have fun in LA. Like LA's
I wear
gross.
Dockers and Skechers. Okay. I shop at Tommy Bahama now.
Like, I wish the best for Demo. I hope nothing happens. I hope it's just simple. I hope the NFL doesn't overreact and nice and easy. Because we love Demo around here. I'm a big Demo fan. One of my guys.
He's one of my favorite, if not my
Oh,
favorite
for
players in the
sure.
team. We need to
Yes.
keep him around, man.
Him and
Come on,
George
dude.
are like George, and Fred are my like quintessential 49er players. Like those are guys where I like see them and hear them and I'm like, yeah, those are Niners, like for sure.
Yeah.
They're
And
good
if there
people.
really was like a gun in plain view, like these officers rolled up and they're like, oh, car's double parked. Oh, there's a gun. Then like Demo.
Yeah.
Demo.
Don't become John
Come on.
Morant, please.
You're
Don't Ja
super
don't
smart, dude. Come on.
don't John Morant us, please.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
That is a friend you don't need right there. Legendary Answers 49 says, I had spoiled milk worse than this news. Yeah,
I
he's
hope
cool with
so.
me.
Yeah, no, it seems like it's minor. It seems super easy, open and shut. He was just the resisting thing was just him not giving keys back, which is good. It wasn't actually him resisting, which is good thing for Demo.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on. Mike Garafolo made a little video. He's a NFL.com insider. And he said, look, there's some speculation out there that the relationship between Brandon Ayuk and the 49ers isn't great. Well, let me tell you, they're in a really great place right now. They're in a really great place. As long as they can keep him healthy and focused, he's going to be all right. And it's like, look,
They're in
the
such a
Niners
great
have been saying
place.
that the relationship between them and him is good all year. So
Yeah.
that's their story, and that's fine. I'd love to hear him say that once, but and then I'll stop harping on it. For Garofolo to say that they have to keep him healthy, yeah, obviously, and focused, he just threw that in there and then moved on, and no one asked him what he meant by that. What do you think they have to keep him focused? Huh? What does
Yeah,
that mean?
that part's my biggest confusion is okay. First off, they're in such a good place right now. As long as they keep him healthy and focused. Okay, so they're not in a good place because he's not healthy or focused right now. So it's like one of those things where it's like, I don't know, man. I think obviously there's something going on with BA. Like we're not dumb. There's something happening with BA there, whether it's Niners or if it's just a BA thing.
And clearly the Niners don't want us to know about it. It's
Yeah.
none of our business.
Or maybe even the Niners don't know about it. Maybe they are truly confused. Like, dude, I don't understand why he's so upset. But like my thing is with that, like,
Maybe.
sure, are the Niners in a good place to be? I mean, he's signed. So I guess that's a better place to be than having him be able to walk in free agency. He's going to want to put good stuff out on film. So he's going to have to perform if he wants to get traded. Like he said on YouTube, ain't no one wanting to trade for him off Percocets and not being able to walk. So even he knows if he wants to get out, he's got to perform. So I guess that's another good sign. But do I think he's going to be playing for the 49ers? No, I think his motivation is probably going to be for the Brandon Ayuk and the possibility of getting out.
John Lynch said something earlier this offseason when discussing draft prospects
Mm-hmm.
and how they sort of consider them. And it's like, we want to know which players truly love football and the ones who just love the things that football provides them, whether it's, and he even said like cars or women. And I think that's interesting with a player like Ayuk. You think he's a guy who's all football before he signed his contract. I mean, he didn't talk very much. We didn't know that he had a life outside of football. He seemed like the ultimate grinder.
Yeah.
Then he gets signed. And then all of a sudden it's like he's buying 3 cars in a weekend. He's making YouTube videos about it. It seems like all of a sudden he does have other interests. He's really into cars, very expensive cars. And then he comes out and plays pretty poorly for 7 games. I mean, his stats were down, his drops were up, and then he gets hurt, which, wasn't his fault. But is that what they're talking about? Like all of a sudden he became a multi-millionaire and decided like, you know what? I'm a car enthusiast more than a football enthusiast.
Yeah.
I wonder.
And I think the big thing with BA is I've always said, like, I think at his core, he's a competitor. Like, I think he just loves to compete. I don't even know if he necessarily, like, again, I don't want to speak on his attitude, but like, I don't, if we're going a lot around that line of thinking, I don't even know if it's like I love football. I think he likes to compete. I think he likes to like I think that's the part of football he likes, and football is what he is good at. Like I think he likes to golf because I think he likes to compete. I think he likes football because he likes to compete. I think he likes cars because he likes to compete. I have a nicer car than you. I just think he's a competitor. And I think I don't know. I don't know what's going on with BA, and it kind of worries me because like that's my thing with like Tio. Like everyone like tries to compare him to Tio. Tio was different, man, because he spoke his mind. Like that was the best, I guess, part about having a diva like Tio is he just tell you. Like he didn't hide it. Like, oh yeah, Donovan McNabb was fat and lazy during the Super Bowl. Oh yeah, Andy Reid's taking McNabb's side. Oh yeah, Jerry was jealous of me. Like he just said it, and I would prefer BA just say it. That way, everyone knows, so that he could try and reconcile it. Because it seems like both the Niners and BA have buyer's remorse from last year. It seems like he should have just went to the Patriots and taken the most money he could have and been happy, I guess, because he wouldn't have been happy in Pittsburgh. I can promise you that. He wouldn't have been happy with Tomlin and them because he'd have the same issues he's having in San Francisco, except for less money. It seems like he just wanted the most money, and he regrets taking the Niners because he thought Kyle was going to start deboing him and just loving on him and cuddling him, and he just isn't.
It's funny when they say focus. Like, I think if you look at his YouTube community posts, it's a little bit of a peek into his mind the last 5 months
Yeah,
since
he's
he.
definitely not focused.
I mean, these are his community posts. 5 months ago, first one he's ever posted is just a picture of a car he bought. Okay, that's the first thing. Next is they was playing. He says this. They was playing in my face last summer. I'm gonna put it in their face this summer. Who's he talking about? Me and you, Tyler?
Yeah, see, and that's what I don't get. Like,
You're trying to make it seem like he's talking about the media. They were playing in my face last summer. Nah, he's talking about the. I mean, I think he's talking about the team here.
and that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, if you can't get over, like, at some point, like, yeah, I just want to be like, if I was Kyle, I'd just be like, dude, you need to grow up. If you can't get over it,
Hold on, I'm not done. A month ago, he says, "Remember that shit you said?" Just left it at that. Then he goes, "This shit's so personal. I'm the only one that know."
yeah,
Okay. And then a few days later, he goes, "My problem is I asked my 4-year-old son if it's a good idea to get another car. He a vibe for real. He never turned me down. Love you, son. Let's go ahead, grab it." That was a month ago. So he goes back and forth from I'm mad, and I won't say at who, but I'm mad, and it seems like I'm mad at the Niners to, you know what? I'm gonna make myself feel better and buy another car. Maybe that's the thing that's the lack of focus. I don't know.
yeah, like, I don't know, man. BA just confuses. He really is one of the most confusing players. I've never seen a player so angry that they got what they asked for. Like, it's truly confusing. It's like imagine if Jamar Chase just started like cryptically tweeting. Everyone like, what are you doing? Why are you angry? You just got what you wanted. Like, BA
yeah, but I think I understand from he doesn't express himself in a way that people can like rally behind him, but I think I understand it. He's like, look, I'm supposed to be the best player. You paid me like I'm the best player, but you don't talk to me like I'm the best player. You talk down to me. You insulted me last year. You didn't really apologize for it. Like, I want my ass fully kissed the way an elite player should be. And like, you won't do it. And I feel like that's what happened with the Red Sox and Devers and why the Giants ultimately got Devers, because although the Red Sox paid Devers, they insulted him like left and right. And he was like, you know what? I'm like wealthy enough and empowered enough to just say screw you and leave. And I feel like that's kind of what I used to do to the Niners. It's like, oh, you paid me? I still don't like you. And I got this contract and I'll have it wherever I go. So
but that's my confusion is, how are they not kissing his ass? They gave him the money. They gave him more than he was going to get and he asked for.
Because you can't unsay certain things.
But then on top of that, even when he's having a problem and everyone is shitting on him for constant drops last year, Kyle still force-fed him the ball. Brock still threw him the ball. Even when it was like a detriment, like, dude, how are you still dropping the ball? They're like, no, BA's our guy. Like, they showed it. Like, he's our guy. We're going to keep going to him over and over and over. And that's why I'm confused. Like, I've not seen a move from the Niners since that contract was inked that's an insult towards him. I feel like all they've been doing is trying to kiss his ass. We will force feed you the football, even though you're dropping 50% of your passes. We will do everything, and you're out of shape. Like, we gave you the money you wanted. We gave you the guarantees you wanted. We kept you on the team you said you wanted. So,
but they wouldn't let him wear the shorts he wanted, Tyler.
God, dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, how are you so angry?
I'm not saying he's right. I'm just trying to say that, like, sometimes highly paid athletes are always right. And if you pay a guy that much money, you don't get to go into the back and forth game of who's right here. Like, no, you're wrong because you paid him and he doesn't like you anymore. And you're somehow complicit in that. Like, I don't know how you thought you knew him and you messed up the relationship. And yeah, he messed it up too, but he got the contract and you're stuck with it.
Or maybe he is pissed. Maybe because, they told him last year, like, you're a guy. And maybe they were shopping him this year and it pissed him off. Like, that's kind of my assumption. Is 5 months ago. What is that? January? Yeah, they were probably shopping him around. And it pissed him off.
I mean, we asked Lynch. He didn't say he wasn't.
Yeah, John Lynch never does. The only player he has ever said without certainty he would never shop is Nick Bosa. That is the only player on this roster he has said he will never shop. So, again, if you're angry about that, dog, it happens to everyone. Like, and if you're too sensitive, just say trade me. Just say it. Say, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to put out what I can.
He said it once before.
Yeah, just go out and be like, I'm going to put what I can on film. I want out. Cool.
Yeah.
Great. That way
it just kind of feels like what the Niners, I mean, I don't know. It just feels like what they may have done is say, look, Brandon, you don't like us? You want to leave?
You.
Great. Okay, well, to facilitate your departure from Santa Clara, you need to be quiet. You need to stop saying
Yeah.
stuff. We need to pretend like we like each other so we can get as much value for you. Like, because if everyone knows he's disgruntled and wants out, now instead of getting maybe a third round pick if he's healthy, you get a seventh round pick if he's healthy. So
Yeah.
maybe they're just trying to preserve some type of trade value before they ultimately
And
depart
that's
ways.
what I'd tell him. I'm like, dog, do you want to go to Jaden? Like, is that what you want? Yes. Okay. We will do everything in our power to do right by you, but you
Yeah.
need to shut your mouth and you need to perform. That's
Help
the only
us.
way.
Help us help you.
I'd be like, look at your contract.
Yeah.
No one is going to take, even if we offer you for
Yeah.
pocket lint,
Yeah.
no one's going to take you right now.
Right.
Like, so
you know that.
Yeah. Like, you're too much drama. You're making too much money and you can't move. So
yeah, you got to prove that you can like live up to this contract, and then we'll move you.
Yeah, like that.
You got to
that
prove
is
that
what
you
I'd
can
say.
be a happy teammate and a good teammate who produces. Then you're gone. Happy to move you.
Because, dude, what happens when you go to the Commanders and the Commanders commander? They're a terrible organization. They're a terrible franchise. What are you going to do then? They're not going to trade for you if you're just going to pout for a year now because you got hurt. It sucks you got hurt. We all hate that you got hurt. But it happens, man. You're playing a violent sport. And negotiations suck. Everyone knows it. And yes, you're on the one team that doesn't go, we're never trading any of our football players. You're just not there. Like, and if you want to be there, you need to be quiet and you need to perform. Like, it's just that simple. Stop posting on, who posts on YouTube? Stop posting on YouTube. Well, I mean, like, statuses.
Ramelia Sports Report says, imagine this is your wide receiver one, only in Santa Claraville. Yeah, just a couple of years ago, I think most people felt that Brandon Ayuk was a better wide receiver than Puka Nacua. Now I think it's pretty clearly Puka Nacua who's better.
I mean, Brandon Ayuk at his peak, I'd take over Puka at his peak, but I can't see Brandon right now.
They're different. They're different. Ayuk's a better route runner. Puka's
Rams talk a lot for a Mickey Mouse ring. Rams fans. That's
Mickey Mouse. Okay,
Mouse
more news.
run.
Alfred Collins has not signed his contract yet with the 49ers. He's the one draft pick who hasn't signed his contract. And when he wasn't out there for rookie minicamp or OTAs or mandatory minicamp, it seemed like, this is because he's hurt. They said, he's got a calf injury. And early on, it seemed like that was clearly the case because he was there watching. It seemed like he was definitely part of team, he wasn't doing activities, but he was part of the team. He was wearing his uniform. He was with the defensive lineman. But then, like midway through OTAs, he wasn't even out there anymore. And you could see over by the weight room that his jersey was just like hanging. So he wasn't there, and he wasn't there at all. And then in mandatory minicamp, same thing. That's a mandatory thing. So, I mean, it would sort of make sense that maybe this contract thing was part of it. He's not under contract yet. And it's not just him. It's every second round pick except for the top two guys.
Yep.
Jaden Higgins and Carson Schwessinger. So this is like a league-wide problem, and it's really not what the Niners need considering he's supposed to start week 1.
Yeah. So if anyone is confused, the reason second rounders aren't signing is a battle of guaranteed money. So everyone's fighting to get guarantees, and it's kind of like a standoff right now between 30 NFL teams on, are you going to pull the trigger? Because if you don't pull the trigger, I won't pull the trigger. Because no one wants to give the second rounders guaranteed money, except for, as we said, the top two. Or more guarantees, however it works. And so, so the reason he hasn't signed is he wants guaranteed money. I completely agree. I think we need to get him signed. I think just, in my opinion, just give it to him. We know the next CBA is probably going to help out second rounders and start giving them more guaranteed money. I hate how bad these CBAs are. You see it with Shamar Stewart, the first rounders. Can we just make draft contracts just uniform? Same language. You can't change it. If you're drafted from here to here, it is this language. You can't change it. If you're drafted from here to here, it is this language. You can't change it. Just so we could, I thought this was the problem we were trying to solve. And it feels like there's just a new complaint every year from rookies. So, in my opinion, if I'm the Niners, dude, we don't want drama. Just give them the guaranteed money. Who cares? Pull the trigger. Just who cares? It's a second round draft pick. Just pull the trigger.
But I think what's interesting is like there's probably a lot of pressure from the rest of the league.
It's an owner thing. Yeah.
Right. Like it's sort of like on, because it was the top two players in round 2 who signed these deals. So now it's like on the third player, whoever that is, the team who
Yeah.
drafted third round to make a decision, and then like the dominoes fall from there. And this is going to have to, the league's going to have to decide, like, is this going to be a one-off or a two-off with these two players, or is this going to be business as usual going forward with second round picks? And the Niners don't want to be the team that makes that decision, so they're going to wait, which is probably what I would do. But what sucks is this is what happens. This is what can happen if you're relying on rookies to start week one. Guy isn't even under contract yet. He hasn't been able to get out there to learn the wide nine because there's a money dispute.
Yeah, and here's my thing, right? So his contract, I think the entirety of his contract would value at $10.3 million. Dog, just guarantee most of it or whatever he wants. Just guarantee it. It's $10 million over 5 years. Even if he sucks, you're only losing $2 million. That's not that much money for an NFL franchise. If I was the Niners, I'd be like, listen, you guys can enjoy your standoff. We're trying to win some football games. We're trying to build a defense, and we're trying to finish and build a dynasty. So you guys have fun. I hate they made a stupid decision, so let's make a stupid decision. Like I've always hated like this the same argument, like, Dak makes this. Okay, the Cowboys made a mistake. Why do we have to pay a quarterback that?
But what sucks is like he already missed minicamp and OTAs, and they'll say, well, he had a calf injury, so he couldn't participate anyway. Okay, maybe, but like he can't miss any training camp. They have to get him out there for training camp, and because if they let him sit out part of training camp over this, then they're telling everyone that business and finances are more important than winning this year.
And dude, we don't have enough defensive tackles. Let's be honest.
They can't afford to do this with Alfred Collins. Like, he is starting. He's the starter. He needs to be out there. I'm sorry. Yeah, like, you can't play these games with him because he's a rookie. And like, what's more important? Like the financial precedent you set with rookies in the future, or winning this year?
And bro, I'd use this as a marketing tool. We care about our rookies here in San Francisco. We care about our players. Boom. Yeah. There you go. Use it as a marketing tool. Use it however you want. Just sign the dude. We don't have the defensive tackles for you to do this. We don't. What are you going to do? Michael Williams and West are now going to be our DTs until we figure out how to avoid paying $6 million in guarantees. Come on, dude.
Like, it's just going to stink if they lose week one to the Seahawks and the Seahawks run for like 150 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Or dude,
and then honestly, like, well, we didn't have Alfred Collins in there till like halfway through training camp because of, some stupid holdout.
Or he's 320 pounds. He falls weird, gets folded on his knee. Oh, he wasn't in shape enough because he missed training camp. Well, now you lost him for the year. So maybe let's stop messing around and let's get our players' bodies right for season. But it's the 49ers, so we all know how this is going to go. This is going to last until season probably.
So look, it's interesting. All offseason, the Niners are talking about this offseason is different. No drama. Drama-free. The last few years, there's always been some drama, whether it was a contract thing or a quarterback controversy. This offseason, you got your quarterback signed. You got your tight end and middle linebacker signed. No drama. But, I mean, your number one cornerback just got arrested. Your number one wide receiver keeps posting weird things in his YouTube community posts, which are kind of supposed to be hidden, but we found him.
Yeah.
Second round pick isn't signed. You sold part of your team. You're investing in other sports, in other continents. You're sitting on $46 million in cap space.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to tell us that this is a drama-free offseason. I don't know. I feel like there's some drama there.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'd be hard pressed to find a team that has drama-free off seasons. I think everyone's got a little drama, and I think for the Niners, this is pretty low maintenance because the second round draft pick thing, you'll just chalk it up to, well, everyone's dealing with it, right? So everyone's dealing with it. Demo's arrest, that one is spicy, but in my opinion, it seems from the story, it seems like a wash. I think the biggest thing for them is just still dealing with this BA. Still dealing with this BS. Hey, I like that. Still dealing with Babs. Like, dude, that's my biggest issue is it seems I'm almost at the point where it's like, bro, just see if someone will take him for a 6th, 7th rounder. Just let's move forward with some no drama and some low maintenance. And again, I think I don't know how you feel, but I feel like the cap space situation is a midseason thing. I think they're going to save it for the midseason, because I think there will be more in the know of what's going on with us. So they know if they need a shed, or because we do have some heavy cap hits next year and the year following too. So I
I
know
have a
that does
tinfoil
roll
hat
over.
theory. I have a
Okay.
tinfoil hat theory.
Okay.
So the Niners, I feel like they're trying to get all their affairs in order. Like they're trying to get everything nice and tidy, almost like they're renovating their house. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
We gotta renovate the kitchen real quick. We gotta get it all looking nice. We gotta make it the garden. I mean, we got our franchise quarterback signed. We're not gonna spend too much. We're not gonna bring on outside free agents. We want our stadium, our roster to be intact
Our
so
stadium
we can sell the
sucks.
team. So we can sell the team. I mean, look, all I see is that they're owning less and less of the 49ers while they're owning more and more of other teams. And I wonder if eventually they're going to own like 75% of the 49ers or 51% of the 49ers.
Yeah.
Where is this going? They seem to be so interested in soccer because, one, it's a bigger sport globally. Two, there are more soccer fans than football fans. Three, there's more growth potential with their soccer teams considering they've kind of tapped out the 49ers financially unless they can win a Super Bowl, which they've shown they don't know how to do.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see it, but again, like if you asked me this time last year, I would say I can't see the Lakers ever being sold either.
I mean, you think about like these NFL teams are just cash cows, right?
Hmm.
But they're also expensive to operate.
Hmm.
The salary cap keeps going up. I mean, you think they feel good about all the money they spent on Brandon Ayuk? I think they look at the future and think there's going to be more and more of these contracts they're going to have to give out, fully guaranteed contracts to players who are 24, 25. And I don't know if they have the stomach for it. I mean, I wonder if the Yorks are going to own this team in 10 years. I don't know. Tinfoil hat.
Yeah, I'm with you again. Like again. If you asked me 3 months ago if the Lakers would ever sell, if the Bus family would ever sell the Lakers, I'd say you're out of your mind. It's like owning gold. Like there's no point in selling it. It's just going to raise in value. But then you see they sell the majority shares. So I could totally see them doing that. I'm curious. Why don't the Niners? I feel like Niners have a strong enough fan base. Why don't they do what the Packers do and just sell a portion of shares to fans? I think that is the coolest thing
It
ever.
is cool.
Like
It
I
just
would
seems to me
totally
like
be down to buy.
I mean, it seems to me like the financial vision of the 49ers is Parag Marathe. And it seems like he has a lot more power over soccer than he does over football. And he's a lot more
Why?
interested over because the people who run football are John and Kyle.
Okay.
Parag used to have a lot of say over football, but he didn't have any success. And I think part of the conditions of getting Kyle Shanahan was what one, he could pick his GM, and
For
two,
sure.
Parag was not going to tell him what to do, and he would
Yeah.
not meddle in football. So he gets to go run soccer. And now it seems like the Yorks,
Why do the
eight,
Yorks
9 years
love
later
Parag
are
though so
really into
much?
soccer
Why are we so obsessed with Parag?
because he's been in the organization longer than Jed. He's the star in the front office of the parents. I mean, the dad found him at Stanford in like 2001. He holds a lot of sway with
Okay.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like again, you never know. Like it always like the Lakers thing has completely made me like so because I could see it. Why not? I mean, and I wouldn't hate it, if we got an owner like the Lakers just got who's someone willing to spend a ton of cash. Um, but
I mean,
I
the
don't
team
know.
is worth almost $9 billion.
Dude, please just sell some to the
Sell the
fans.
team, dude. And
Sell shares to
again,
us,
you
please.
just sold 6% of it. You just sold about 6% of it, and you're not spending 46 million in cap space. Sell the rest. Sell the rest to someone who will spend the cap space, man. Because it seems to me that let's look at where the NFL is going. It's becoming a league of teams that are going to have to be giving out multiple contracts in offseason that
Mhm.
are in excess of $100 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
What's it going to be in 5 years, 10 years? I mean, how much is a quarterback going to be worth, going to get paid in 10 years? $1 billion? Is he going to
Dude,
get a 10-year billion contract? Is he going to get $100 million? In like 5 to 10 years, a quarterback's going to get $100 million a year. Are the Yorks ready for that?
Dude, give us one of those like oil princes as our owner that's just willing to just shove cash. That'd be so sick if we got like the Live Golf owner. Oh my gosh, that'd be awesome.
I wonder if the future of like sports ownership in the NFL is just billionaire corporations owning these teams. And is that good? I don't know. I don't
know.
The Yorks not owning the team would be good though. I'd be in favor of that.
I would be in favor of that. I don't think the Yorks know what they're doing. I feel like that, like you can say what you want about the team.
I feel like they've brought the Niners as far as they can bring them. Like they've increased the value of the franchise. They got a new stadium in the wrong location. They got to the
stadium sucks too. Levi's sucks.
It's in the wrong spot and it's not that nice. At least it's outdoor. It has grass, but no, it's not a good stadium at all. They got to the Super Bowl 3 times. They couldn't deliver a Lombardi trophy. I don't think they're going to do better than they've done.
Yeah, again, like
I think their calling is in Europe. I think they need to fully embrace soccer. I love it, man.
I mean,
sell more of the 49ers. Buy more soccer teams. That's the move. That's where you're going to make your money.
Sell to one of those ownership groups of like
one more point.
Put some players on there like Patrick Willis and Frank Gore. Not Joe Montana though. He seems kind of off his rock. He thought we should pay Purdy, so don't put him on the ownership.
Here's the question with the Yorks. What do they care about? What most drives them? Not what do they care about? What most drives them? Winning a Super Bowl or making money?
Dude, I don't know because they have seemed really committed to trying to win a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
They've spent a lot.
What are they most committed to, in your opinion? Winning a Super Bowl or making money? Maybe that's a tough answer.
That is a tough answer for me because they have spent record money on this team. Like they really have tried. And I don't want to poop on.
Well, you got to spend money to make money.
No, I agree. And I think, but they really have, like, they put way more money into this team than they ever did for Harbaugh. And his teams, in my opinion, showed way more promise.
Because to me, if they cared more about winning a Super Bowl than making money, they'd spend the cap space. If they cared more about making money than winning a Super Bowl, then they might be more interested in soccer because I feel like, they've kind of bought low. The Rangers are a team that has a lot of fans in Scotland, but hasn't won much. I think they bought low on that one. With Leeds, that's a team that used to be great. They bought low. They feel like those teams could explode if they become good, if they're good for 2 years, that all of a sudden this sleeping giant of a fan base erupts and buys merch.
Okay.
There's growth opportunity.
So if we follow this line, what more could they have spent on this offseason? Like, that's my thing when we talk about like the Niners should have spent. There's not really anyone I would have been happy they went out and just.
Dude, Lenoir got arrested today. What about Jalen Ramsey? He's available. He's expensive. The Niners can afford
31.
Him. Would you Richard Sherman was 31 on the 49ers.
And he got cooked by Sammy Watkins.
Jalen Ramsey's better than Richard Sherman was. Jalen Ramsey hasn't popped his Achilles. And Sherman had a good year that year. I think he went to a Pro Bowl.
But here's my thing. What would we have to trade? We don't have much. Like, if we get rid of draft picks, do I think that's smart for the future of this team? No. Why would we give up?
Who's better, Jalen Ramsey or Trey Brown?
I mean, right this second is Jalen Ramsey.
Right, and it's not our money.
Yeah, but I don't know, because what if Jalen Ramsey doesn't want to go to San Francisco?
They could have re-signed Dre Greenlaw. They could have signed an offensive lineman.
Okay, I'm glad
if they knew they were going to have $46 million in cap space. There was a time and a place they could have signed people.
Sure, but okay, Dahlman, is he really worth that amount of money? That's a lot of money for a center. I don't know.
Again, it's not my money, man. I think the York should absolutely have to spend more, spend the money. I don't want you dumpster diving and find a good efficiency. Spend the money.
Jalen Ramsey, but here's the thing though, is if the trade is right, I think Jalen Ramsey would be good. But if they're asking, if the Dolphins are asking for a second round pick, I'm not trading for Jalen Ramsey.
No, they're asking for you to take his contract. I bet you can get him for a 6th or a 5th round pick.
Let me see. What is Jalen Ramsey's contract anyways?
It's more than $20 million.
How long does this thing? Because we have a lot of cap hits next year, which we have to. Oh my God. No way, dude. This is until he's 34 years old and his cap hits just go. No way you want us to pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
Why would we pay for that? We have corners
Because you're trying to win a Super Bowl, and your core is old. He's the same age as Kittle.
Yeah, but it's easier to replace a tight end than it is a corner. And Kittle's being paid like corner's shelf life is a lot less.
He could play. He's one of these corners who could go play safety in his later years, like Charles Woodson.
Like, okay, I think they should sign Justin Simmons to like a year deal, 2-year deal. And
I love that too.
I would
love
give
that
him,
too.
$12 million or 2-year, 24 fully guaranteed to play safety for us. Like
that'd be much more cost effective, and he's the same age. I like that deal.
Yeah, like
I would a no-brainer.
Totally do that, but
I could do both. But yeah, Justin Simmons like today.
But like, what if
also a defensive lineman in case Alfred Collins never signs?
But
you know who they should trade for? I got a name. Roll with me on this one.
Okay,
defensive tackle. I think he'd be a great fit in the Niners defense. Kind of tall. Got a good swim move.
You know who? Roll with me.
DeForest Buckner.
Yeah.
I think he's just what they're looking for, man.
I would love DeForest
you put DeForest. Can you imagine DeForest Buckner next to Nick Bosa? Can you just try to picture that? I think it would be great.
I still can't believe we kept Armstead. I still remember that day, and then I saw Armstead's contract. I was like, we just said no to him getting the contract.
I mean, they got rid of Buckner because he wanted like $21 million a year, and they're like, we'll offer you 19. That sounds so quaint. Like now these players are getting $40 million a year. And you like, oh.
So but see, that's what I'm saying though, is this is what I think they're going to do. I think they're going to go midseason, right? So say the Colts suck. Niners are doing great. I could see them be like, all right, let's trade for Jalen Ramsey and DeForest Buckner and really try and put us over.
Why would the Colts suck though? They have Daniel Jones.
Exactly why the Colts would suck. And Shane Steichen seems like buns. I'm not going to lie. This dude seems like he is cooked.
Yeah, it turns out that the real genius mastermind over there in Philly,
Nick Sirianni.
All along.
Maybe that's going to be Dan Kelly. Just kidding. Caleb Williams, 5,050 touchdowns.
Yeah. All right. It's Prize Picks time. I think we should start with WNBA because I think they're like the biggest sport going right now. And then we can make our way over to Call of Duty. Are we doing Call of Duty?
Yeah. Let's do Call of Duty, maybe. We need to get a
What happened? Did what's her face? Caitlin Clark already start playing today?
Oh, yeah, probably.
That's too bad.
Just do
Angel Reese, 11.5 boards, more or less. I feel like that's such a layup. We got that, man.
She misses like 12 shots a game, so that's 12 rebounds. So yeah.
Yeah, but she's doing it for the Prize Picks. You already know.
Yeah, I agree. She's
one step ahead, man. You got to shout out Angel Reese. All right, Sabrina.
Paige.
No, they keep moving around. Paige,
the goat of my city.
For real? Oh, Dallas. Paige Bukers. Okay, 18 points or 5.5. 18 points. What do you think, more or less?
More.
Just coming off a down game, dude. Paige isn't going to do that too.
She's playing against Caitlin Clark too, so she's going to show up.
Is she going to show up and show out?
Yeah, that's
okay. What about the OG Brittany Griner? 8 points, more or less.
Ooh,
Brittany.
Jesus.
I mean, that's a trend. I'm going to take the trend. No offense to Brittany. Shout out Brittany.
Brianna Stewart.
Brianna Stewart. Okay, last one. Brianna Stewart, 21.5 points for Brianna.
Let's hit her with the over. Look at her. She's on fire.
You just lost the game. It's a very easy game. All you have to do is say more or less.
Or more. That's what I meant.
You tried. Okay, let's do Call of Duty. Who are the heavy hitters here? Who are the major players?
Ooh, Big Mercules.
Mercury. What a great name.
We got to go more for Big Merc.
And what does the more entail here? 1 to 3.
He's going to have 50. He's going to have 59 or more kills combined with maps 1, 2, and 3 in this series.
Oh, dude, Mercules? Of course.
Dude,
do they have
Mercules
his stats?
Is him. No.
It'd be so cool if they actually had his stats. I wish I could learn about Mercules.
He's
him. Anyone else? What about Hydra? I feel like Hydra used to be him, but isn't him anymore.
Hydra's goated.
Goated?
Yeah.
But he's kind of on the down. Like he's like the Trent Williams of
He's a French
Duty,
phenom.
Right? French phenom, huh?
Hydra's like 22. So.
Oh, that means he's super old, right?
No, he's pretty young still.
Should we hit him with the more?
2.5 though? No, I think they're gonna run through Vancouver. I go less just because they're gonna beat them too fast.
That's such a smart play right there. Okay, well, let's lock that in, flex it out. Let's put 50 on it just because I'm feeling great because I want to win 20. No, what if we win the whole thing? Okay. 6 to win. No, but that's just the ambition talking right there. I'm gonna
Yeah.
flex it, submit it.
We got a lot of picks
Download
here.
Prize Picks today. Use promo code COHN. Play 5. Huh? Max? Oh no, wait, hold on. They're trying to play me on that because they knew we were right. They were like, wait a second.
Dang,
This
see,
is
guys, they know
Cohn
we're
and
gonna
LaRocca.
win. They know we're
Play
gonna
5,
hit.
win 50 instantly. All right, bingo.
Gosh, Call of
Let
Duty
me ask you
champions.
this.
That's what we should cover is COD.
So the Niners have been extending all kind of players. It seems like they're done spending for now. Upcoming free agents who haven't gotten an extension. Jawan Jennings has not gotten an extension. Do you think that Brandon Ayuk essentially, let me ask a different way. Do you think that extending Brandon Ayuk has cost the 49ers Jawan Jennings?
So here's my thing. I personally think Jawan is going to pop off this year and he's going to command a massive contract because he is nearing 30. And he is going to do everything he can to get said contract, which I won't blame him because he has been making pennies on the dollar for his production. I would not pay him. I think Jawan is good. I don't think he's great. I think even as good as he looks in training camp, he's just one of those guys you just don't give big money to. You let a team like the Jaguars pay big money to him. If he's willing to take a good discount, which I wouldn't expect him to, yes, but I'm not.
I disagree with you, Tyler. I think the Niners messed up so bad here because I feel like Jennings is going to be a good value. People are going to look at him and be like, dude, you ran a 4.7 when you were 23. What do you run now? He probably runs a 4.8 now. And I think that's always going to hold him back in terms of the money he can make. I doubt he'll ever make $20 million a year. He could catch 90 passes this year. I bet he'll top out.
I think he makes 20. I think he makes 20 next.
You think so?
If he has
I think he'll make 15.
I think if he has another big year this year, yeah, I think he'll make around 20. I think someone will be desperate enough, like the Patriots.
Still, though, that's such a better value than freaking Ayuk, man. Yeah, whatever he ends up getting paid will be way less than Ayuk. And with Ayuk, what are you paying for? Like a little bit more speed that he may not even have anymore?
I mean, I think BA's route running is top 3 in the NFL. I think his route running is like.
Why do you get locked up so bad in the Super Bowl?
That one was rough, but I think it was just because they could put pause on him. And Purdy didn't have time. Purdy didn't have a lot of time.
I feel like Ayuk's really good as a route runner against zone coverage, but when like he really faces a good press man corner, he can get tied up. Yeah. Because he doesn't have that like speed to make a press corner scared. You know what I mean? Like he did average 17 yards a catch or almost 18 in 2023, but he's not a true burner. This is
and it's just his release is kind of, it's not like if you watch Devontae Adams off the line, you can't try and put hands on him. Like he's just behind you. And he's not the fastest guy. So BA should be taking notes from Devontae because he's not a burner either. But if you play press on Devontae Adams, like you're just 5 yards behind. And
you just gave up the ball over your head. And that's not exactly Ayuk.
Yeah. So it's like with
Ayuk would be like, oh, it's a slant. No, it's an out. No, it's like a and it's really smooth.
He just needs a better release off the line, which sucks he can't work on it this offseason. And I think the other big issue is just his hands, man. Holy moly, this dude drops so much. I feel like he drops way more than he should. So I think that's another issue too, is when people do play press on him, he drops.
It's true. I mean, he's not a number 1 receiver, and he may get paid as like a high level number 2. And I don't think I think what the Niners learned maybe from Debo and Ayuk is that don't just pay wide receivers because they've produced in Kyle Shanahan's system, because Jordan Watkins could produce. Jawan Jennings is producing. Jordan Watkins could produce. Like a lot of people have done this.
Ricky Pearsall might play in Kyle Shanahan's system.
I don't think we're going to see them give out those big wide receiver contracts that much anymore. And maybe that's an ownership decision.
I wouldn't. I think Kyle has proven he can make it work with anyone. He made it work with Emmanuel Sanders, Brandon Ayuk, Debo, Jawan. He's probably going to make it work with one of the new guys. He's probably going to make it work with DeMarcus Robinson. He doesn't need big money receivers. I think the one thing Kyle will need, though, that they will have to spend money on is tight end. Because I think George is not because of the system. I think George is just George.
There's also this other position that I think they should probably consider investing in at some point, considering especially that they're not going to be spending too much on wide receivers in the future. Offensive line.
Why does Kyle avoid it? Is it because his zone offense? He thinks it's just not as necessary.
I think he feels that having great offensive linemen doesn't necessarily lead to winning as much as having great weapons does.
I
And
think that
all you need is starters on the offensive line.
I think
Starters.
that's what BA cost them. What is offensive line? I think if they didn't pay BA, then you could have seen like a Dahlman signing this offseason where they overpay a little bit.
Yeah.
Or like maybe they take a page out of the Bears book and go get Tooney. They try and get one of these guys that are expensive, not named Trent. And, I think that's what BA costed them, if anything. I don't think the Niners were ever planning on signing Juwan again, though. That's just kind of how I've always felt about it. I felt like Juwan was a means to an end. I feel like that's also why he's not holding out. One, he's not that kind of guy, but two, I think he knows it wouldn't have amounted.
Yeah, and he's going to get his money elsewhere.
Yeah. I think everyone knows Juwan in the Niners. It's like Raheem in the Niners. It's yeah, we love you, but we're not going to we're not breaking you off.
Yeah, and there's so many teams that run the Niners offense that he could end up.
Yeah.
Really.
I love Juwan. I love him, but yeah, I wouldn't pay him.
Okay. Here's someone else who will be a free agent after this year. Should the 49ers extend Colton McKivitz? Now, he's not nearly as good as Juwan Jennings. Don't ruin it. He's not nearly as good as Juwan Jennings, but Jennings plays a position where it's easy to find wide receivers every year. The Niners just found Jordan Watkins at the end of round 4. He runs a 4.3. Abundant. All the best athletes in the country play this position. Offensive tackle seems like maybe even harder to find good ones than quarterback. You got to find a guy who's 6'8", super nimble, which brings us to Colton McKivitz. He's tall. He's not super nimble, but he's proven that he is a low-level starting offensive tackle in the NFL. And for the 49ers, they haven't had many of those. So should they extend him?
So here's my thing. Honestly, I'm going to throw a curveball here. After seeing what Jalen Moore got paid, Aaron Banks got paid, and Mike McGlinchey get paid, bro, look if you could get a haul for him. Honestly, see if you could get a haul
also,
for him.
McKivitz is looking at what they got paid. He's like, why don't we talk next year? I'm going to get so much money for being alive.
Yeah, if I was them, I'd be like, hey, so what about Jalen Ramsey, maybe Tyreek for Colton McKivitz? Have you guys thought about that? Bolstering your offensive line. He's still on a cheap deal for now, so you guys can sign him to what you want next year. Who knows what you could get for him? I wouldn't extend him. I'd sell him while he's hot.
Well, the problem with that is that the Niners offensive line is already the thinnest position group on the team. So trading the starting right tackle after you lost the starting left guard and the swing tackle would be it would make
Alfred
things a little bit more
over.
difficult for Brock Purdy, but
move Alfred Collins over.
He could do it.
Right. Yeah, let him play right tackle. What is he? 6'4",
yeah. Now he'd have to sign his contract first, but when he does that, guess what, Alfred? You're playing.
You know what? Michael Williams is only 20 years old. Maybe that's why they got him, so they can flip him positions. He's young enough to learn. He's young enough to learn right tackle. He's going to go under Trent's wing, and he's going to become the first two-way lineman. He's going to play both D line and O line.
All right. Well, that was easily one of your worst takes yet on Cohn and LaRocca. But I want to do a new segment because I've been doing this on YouTube for about 5 years. I've been covering the team for 15. I think it's my 15th season. And man, I've had some really bad takes through the years.
Time.
15, I've had some good takes, but I've had more bad takes. And I think it's time to acknowledge some of these bad takes and answer for them. So why don't you hit me with some of my worst, and I'll say what I can say about them.
Next time we got to acknowledge your good takes. That way people realize that you know what you're talking about.
Well, I think all the people who watch this show, the millions and millions across the world who tune in just to see my face, know my good takes. But I think it's important just to balance it out because I have so many people, so few haters, so many people who love me. It's like, wait a second. And
you just have so few bad takes. I could only come up with 5 in 15 years of 49er coverage. That's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
I guess the first one would be, you didn't think the Niners should draft Nicholas Bosa. Why?
Yeah, I didn't think Nick Bosa would be great. In my defense, his brother was kind of hurt at the time. And you've sort of seen his brother. He's kind of like he's always in and out. And I thought Nick would sort of be similar. And
who did you want us to take over, Nick?
Josh Hines Allen.
You know,
I also like Brian Burns. And they're good players.
Yes, but they're not Nick, but you know.
I was like vociferously against Nick Bosa. And to make my point, I was comparing his combine results to Solomon Thomas, which I took it too far.
Yeah. Okay.
I took it too far.
I mean, at least you didn't completely whiff, right? You didn't say like they should have drafted Solomon Thomas over Nick, right? You at least said two good edge
No,
rushers.
it wasn't a complete whiff. It's just I wouldn't have taken him.
It was brutal.
I would have gotten fired.
And then this is my least favorite take you've had. It is that they should have traded George Kittle in 2022. You still hold that take. You said this offseason they should consider trading.
Yeah. See, I was trying, in my defense, I was subscribing to the Bill Walsh theory of trade a guy a year too early, not a year too late. But unfortunately, that would have been 2 to 4 years too early. And that would have been a giant mistake. So that, yeah, you know, my heart was in the right place. And you can see where my head was at on that one, but I was just wrong.
But again, not a big whiff because it's not like we've won anything. So
and look, if you had traded him, who knows? Maybe you get a first-round pick. Maybe it's someone incredible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you never know.
You never know.
The next one, I don't even want to blame you for this take because everyone had this take, but let's just pretend that Purdy wouldn't have made an impact or wouldn't have made the roster.
Yeah, when they gave him a roster spot, I thought it was cool. I mean, they got rid of Nate Sudfeld and they had to eat like $2 million to make this move. But I was like, what did Brock Purdy really do that like you couldn't sneak him on the practice squad? Like, is some team really gonna? And maybe they would have, but yeah, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, but I will say, in defense, all these people.
I also said he had a noodle arm. That was I shouldn't have said that either.
He does have a noodle arm. All the people that say that take didn't even know who Brock Purdy was. But okay, this one you and I shared. The Trey Lance. It's the Trey Lance stuff, but
yeah.
I blame Kyle for Trey Lance. I don't blame Trey Lance for Trey Lance. So I'm still holding strong on Trey Lance. Could have been good with the coach. So.
Yeah, and in my defense on this one, like I didn't say the Niners should trade up to number 3. That just happened.
Mm-hmm.
I never said they should do that. And then when they got there, I was saying they should draft Kyle Pitts, which would have been worse. Would have been terrible. And I would have gotten fired. But I didn't want to do the trade. And once we like all agreed that it had to be a quarterback, I was like, okay, I guess Trey Lance should be the guy because I didn't really like any of those guys and none of them really worked out. And then once he got on the team, I just felt like he deserved a chance because he was backing up another quarterback who's a backup as well. And I ended up being right about Jimmy being a backup, but
to be fair,
I think I had some praise for Trey that he probably didn't.
To be fair, no one behind Lance would have looked good at that Lance pick. Nobody. Literally. Fields.
I mean, Justin Fields would have been.
They would have all looked awful. They would have all looked awful. So I blame Kyle for that one. The next one was you really liked Kellen Mond. That was your boy.
Yeah. I don't know what happened there. I don't really have much to say about that one other than evaluating quarterbacks is hard and I'm not good at it. In addition, Chris Sims liked him. So, and he's pretty good at evaluating quarterbacks.
KOC seemed to like him.
He played 4 years. I like the idea of Kellen Mond. Mobile, played 4 years in school, is experienced. And I guess, who was it? The Minnesota Vikings? I don't know who drafted him.
Yeah, KOC liked him.
Right. So then I saw him in one of those, it was the joint practice in Minnesota. And my God, I thought, if you thought Trey Lance was a little shaky, this guy seemed petrified and couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. I knew it wasn't going to work out, and if it killed me. And now I just remember to shut the hell up when it comes to these quarterbacks.
Now that I think about it, you and KOC, you guys might think the same about quarterbacks. I think your quarterback analysis is the same as Kevin O'Connell because you guys both liked Kellen Mond.
I said the Niners should trade Brock Purdy and go get JJ McCarthy this offseason.
I hate JJ McCarthy.
Because I'm KOC Jr.
Yeah, you are. You and KOC. So now anyone that wants to be mad at your quarterback takes has to be mad at KOC's quarterback takes. They should hire you as like a quarterback coach in Minnesota. You just have a soundboard. It's like
It feels so good to get that stuff off my chest. I feel like it's been holding me back my whole life, or at least the last few years. Prop of 1468 says, Grant, if you lined up across from LaRocca as a corner, are you locking him down?
No, he's getting cooked.
Dude, you couldn't get open for anything. Are you kidding?
He's
I
been
would
doing
use
his
the sideline to my advantage. That's my friend.
He's been doing his Zumba classes, and he'd still just get he'd get left in the dust. I just turned 30, so I'm still in my prime.
Oh, we're good. We're both in our 30s. It's totally fine. I'm still in my prime. You're gonna say that Trent Williams and I aren't in our primes?
You know, I'll tell you this. When Grant and I meet in person, we're gonna do this just for you.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'11".
Okay, that's a good matchup. I'm 6 feet.
Yeah. So
and a half inch.
Propa, we're gonna do this when we meet. I'll show you how quickly I'll leave him.
What's your 40 time?
Behind.
What's your 3 cone?
My 3 cone is 10.25, and then my 40 is a 4.3. So
mine too.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for watching today. If you just tuned in, Deommodore Lenoir got arrested. It seems like a misunderstanding that won't affect his career, but it definitely got us through another day over here on YouTube. So shout out to everyone, and hopefully Lenoir's all right. Seriously, Lenoir.
Yeah.
Don't put yourself in bad situations. You don't know what these policemen are going to do.
You're this show's favorite player. So
yep.
Keep doing it, man.
Have a good one. Enjoy your Friday.